Hey guys, we're gonna do a little Qigong routine today. So if you joined us before for this, a lot of it will be similar, but we're gonna do a little bit of a different set actually. So usually I do the five organ set where we're focusing on the lungs and the heart, liver, etc. But we're gonna do something a little bit more um, well, it's a little bit more simple, but it's totally different. It's much more of a mental visualization thing versus the physical movements. So it's a little easier to follow along, but yeah, you guys can try it out and see if you like it. But we're always going to start off with warm up, so we'll get into that. Sorry, you might hear River throwing the ball here and there. It might be interrupted. But beginning, I always like to start with some shaking, get the chi moving. So whatever feels good for you. This is our new and improved basement, by the way. Not fully there yet, but kind of set up a, oh, here's a cute little puppy. And then we have our workout area. Bedroom's kind of messy because we're still working on the bathroom in there, but it's coming along. We're almost there. So continuing with the shaking. You always want to make sure that you're getting rid of tension in the body so that the chi can flow properly. So if you have, different aches, pains, or fascial adhesions, it's much more difficult for that chi energy to be moving around. So we have to spend quite a bit of time on your warm up. Okay, and you can do a few shakes down to the ground and touch your toes, like so. And then also some rotations to get the spine moving side to side. Get the hands nice and loose. Hey, hey. All right. So next up, we will do some Zen swings. So that is just side to side, nice and loose. And you're just shifting your weight from one side to the other. So you can't really see, but when I shift to one side, the other heel lifts up just slightly. River's playing with the exercise ball. I'm gonna have to go upstairs soon. Too distracting. So nice and loose. You want to be consciously relaxing as much as possible. So even though you might feel like you're completely relaxed, there's always a deeper level to relax even more. So make it as effortless as possible. And then as a progression from here, continue with that movement, come all the way up. One hand touches the underarm, the other one kind of like the back of your neck / shoulder. Then same thing, other side, armpit, back, or a neck / trap. And then just make that nice and smooth. So you should feel a nice stretch in the lats. And you can also look at that elbow that's in the air. You don't get too dizzy, but that helps also with your stretching your neck. And we'll go back to the regular Zen swing. And then another variation is a spinal twist where you're opening up. So palm is up of the hand going back. Other one is going to hit the chest, the pec, and then other side. And this one, you want to look at the hand going behind you to get that full rotation. So this is great. I do this as a volleyball warm up. Any type of like rotational sport. So if you're thinking like golf or baseball or volleyball, honestly any sport really, there's going to be some rotational aspect. So it's a good way to get that spine mobilized, but then also to open up the chest. So even just from daily sitting posture and being like this or texting, whatever, these muscles tend to get tight, contracted. So anything to open them up, very good for that. Okay, okay, sorry, quick intermission here. Go upstairs, go on. All right. So should be feeling nice and relaxed now. We'll do a few more of the warm-up exercises that are a little bit more coordinated to the breathing. So we're kind of transitioning into like the next phase. So first phase, the way I think of it at least is just like, purely warm-up. So this is just getting things moving. And then the next phase, we're still technically doing warm-up, but we're starting to incorporate the breath. We're transitioning a little bit more into Qigong side of things, and then we'll do the actual practice. So, river found her way back down. So we'll do another spinal exercise. So this one is called casting. So it's great for the spine. Starting at around your knees, you can go lower if you want. You're going to inhale, and you're picturing this wave going up your spine, and then exhale, casting up the net as far as you can. So it's probably easier to see from a side angle. So you want to keep your back straight when you're starting, but your inhale, it's like you just have this wave coming all the way up, and then exhale, throw out the net. Inhale, exhale, release. We'll do a few more of those. Okay, awesome. Next one, feet are going to go nice and wide. And we're going to create a ball with our hands. So palms are going to be facing in. In Qigong, the shapes are very important. So making sure that you have a nice round container for the energy to flow. Same thing with yoga, actually. There's a lot of theories about, what is the significance of the poses. And a lot of them, you're putting your body in these different angles to essentially harness the cosmic energy or the ethers, similar to how, like on a radio or TV, you have the different antennas and the different shapes are going to create different resonance in your body. So that's why it's very important to focus on the posture side of things. And when we're doing these types of exercises, just making sure that you're, not that you have to be perfect, but trying your best to create the proper shapes. Palms facing in. You're going to rotate, inhale on the way up. And then on the way down, exhale, come around the front. Inhale on the way up. Exhale around. And you want to try to keep your spine nice and long here. So the movement is mostly coming from your knees and your hips, actually. You're not really, you're moving your spine a little bit, but you're not bending forward. I'll show you from the side. So when I'm coming around, spine is still fairly neutral. Movement is coming from lower in the body. Come back to center. And then next time you get to the top, you can pause there. And then we will reverse it and go the other direction. So inhale on the way up. Exhale. And you might start to feel a bit of tingling in your hands and palms. That's totally normal. Maybe your shoulders are getting a little bit fatigued. That's where it's really important to focus on the breath. And you almost want to just picture your arms being lifted by your breathing. Like it's effortless. It's the chi that's helping to propel your body. Pause at the top again. And then what we're going to do now is have the waves crashing down. I'm going to change this just a little bit. So at the top, waves are going to crash down all the way to the bottom, and then we're going to lift back up. Oh, now I need to come down even more. You can just do the back up a bit. So hands coming up, waves crash down, bend your knees, lift it back up, and then crash down. So exhale down, inhale up. This is a good kind of squat position. And you may actually feel almost a bit of resistance when you're coming up, and that's good. It's like you're literally lifting up a bunch of water, and then it's all just flowing, crashing down. All right, we'll do a few cleansing breaths. So feet are hip distance apart, gathering the energy from the ground, breathing in. Once we get here, flip, continue the inhale. And I'm gonna hit the ceiling because I'm too tall here, but your arms can be straight up. And then you're gonna exhale, bring all that energy down through the midline, and then repeat. So inhale, gathering the earth energy, flip the arms, continue inhale, gathering the ethers, the heavenly air energy, and then channel that all downwards, cleansing your entire body. So if you do this with your eyes closed, you can picture that on the way when you're coming down, you have this white or golden light that's just cleansing your entire body. All the way down to your feet. You can go into the ground if you want. And then the inhale is more gathering. So building up that energy, gathering the air energy, channeling it all down through your body. One more, nice and smooth. Awesome. Yeah, and when you're at the top, it probably doesn't look like the best technique just because I'm touching the top. But you should be coming all the way up, and your hand should be like completely straight. I kind of got stopped by the ceiling there, but it should be completely straight, and then bring it all the way down. All right. I can shake it off a little bit. So that's most of the warm up. We'll do a quick little kind of like body scan meditation and then get into the practice. So you can have your feet nice and close together. And we're going to start by dividing the body into 3 sections. So we have our head section, midsection, and then from the waist down. So what we're going to do is we're going to inhale. And then on the exhale, we're just going to picture this energy. Think of it as like a relaxation energy. I almost picture like this honey just oozing down my body, this soothing honey. And it's going to be relaxing. You're consciously trying to focus on relaxing all of the muscles in that area. So the first section, you're going to inhale, focusing on the top of the head. Then the exhale, just the slow relaxation, wave of relaxation coming all the way down to about your neck. And then you're going to inhale again. You don't have to do this with your hands, by the way. I'm just showing you. You can have your hands at your side. So the next section, exhale, relaxing your chest, down into your upper abdomen, lower abdomen. You can also incorporate your arms at the same time, getting down towards the belly and your fingers. And it's good. Over time, it'll be easier to kind of slow down your breathing as you do this. Next section, waist down. So we're starting here at the inhale. Exhale, just relaxing the upper thighs, down to the knees, calves, feet. Perfect. And we'll just do that a few more times. So inhale, focus on the top of the head. Exhale, relaxing the forehead, wave of relaxation through the forehead, the eyes, ears, nose, mouth, chin, neck. Good. And then next inhale, going to be starting around the chest level. And then on the exhale, we're relaxing our chest, ribs, also our upper arms, our lower arms, lower abdomen, fingers. Nice long exhale. Next one, breathing into the area just below your belly button, about 3 fingers below your belly button, the lower dantian. Breathe in. And then relaxation. So groin area, upper legs, knees, lower legs, down to the feet, and relax. You can also, if you feel a little bit of tension, you can also do like, a little bit of movements if you want as you're going through those parts. So say your shoulders are tense, you can, do a slight little movement, but we're focusing on just like purely relaxing the body. Okay, so progression of this, you're supposed to do this for like, probably 30 every day for 30 days or something, is what my teacher said. But the next progression would be just dividing the body into two sections. So top of the head to the abdomen or lower dantian, and then from there down. So you're gonna need a longer breath for this. So we'll just try that a few times. So inhale, focusing on the top of the head. That wave of relaxation starts on the exhale, coming all the way down, forehead, ears, eyes, nose, mouth, chin, neck, shoulders, chest, the upper arms, down to the lower arms, abdomen, belly, down to the lower dantian. So that was going to be a little bit harder, right? It's a longer breath. So you want to kind of maintain that slow nature of the relaxation, but be prolonging the breath. And then the next one, we're going to inhale, starting from just below the belly button. And then exhale, relaxation from the groin, upper legs, knees, lower legs, feet, into the ground. And then let's try this one just for fun, but it's a little bit more advanced, but it's everything in one breath. So from head all the way to the toes. So see how far you can make it. Don't want to rush it. We're going to inhale, focusing on the top of the head. And then exhale, wave of relaxation coming all the way down. So top of the head, eyes, ears, nose, mouth, chin, neck. Keep that exhale going. Chest and shoulders, upper abdomen, lower abdomen, hands, continuing on down to the groin, upper legs, knees, lower legs, feet, and relax. So yeah, you can practice that anytime. It's a good way, especially if you're trying to sleep or you just want to get out of your mind to get into your body. It's an excellent relaxation technique. So start with just the 3 sections, and if that's getting easy, then you can do it into 2. And then once you master that, you can do it in 1 breath, then you can do that. But even for me, it's depends on my state and how I'm feeling. I can't always do that 1 breath. So if I'm feeling really relaxed, I can do it, but you don't want to be rushing it. You want it to be very organic and naturally flowing. So that's something they'll often do before the practice, just to make sure, okay, my body's fully relaxed. I've done a bit of movement, things are nice and loose, and then we're calming down the mind and body, and then we can get into the practice. So what we're going to do here, so a little bit different than the 5-organ practice. I'll probably, maybe I'll just verbalize it first, and then we can actually do it together. So what we're going to be doing, so I like to transition right from that exercise, the relaxation exercise, into this. So what you would want to do, I'll show my feet. Technique is very important here. So you're nice and relaxed. You want to keep your body as level as possible. So you don't want to be moving to the side. You're going to lift up your left leg and then step out into hip distance apart. Okay, so you can practice that. You may notice a few times when you're balancing on the one foot, you might wobble. That's not what you want. It's okay if you mess it up, but you really want to be intentional and do it slowly. So heel is going to lift up, weight's going to go into the right foot. You're going to step all the way out, and you want to maintain this level nature as much as possible. Okay, and that's how you start a lot of the practices when you're going to a wider stance. It's just very mindfully moving over, stepping out. And then the next thing is you're going to be inhaling, bringing the hands up, kind of like the cleansing breath. And you want your hands to be, you can have your elbows being slightly relaxed, like you don't have to be all the way out here, but slightly relaxed, about at your, you can say your ear height is where your hands are going to be. Palms are facing up. And what you're going to be doing is focusing on inhaling. When you inhale, The arms extend a little bit. And then when you exhale, they come down just a little bit. And they're almost rotating. So your hands are almost rotating inwards a little bit. So when you exhale, or sorry, inhale, they're, how do I explain this? So your pinkies would be coming up. Basically, your palms are going to be parallel to the ceiling. And then when you exhale, palms slightly come to the forward, not too much, but you're dropping your arms a little bit, bending a little bit more. Very slight movement. So inhale, exhale, just slight rotation and relaxation of the wrists. Inhale, exhale. And we are focusing on here. So when you're inhaling, you're picturing that you're gathering all this energy, all this cosmic energy, the ether, into your entire body. So this whole, not just your palms, but like the whole span of your body, you're inhaling and just picturing that all coming in. And then when you exhale, it's almost like you're channeling it more into your body. I guess I already said that you're doing that, but you're kind of, collecting it initially. So on the inhale, you're collecting it, it's all coming in, and then you're funneling it with the exhale, funneling it down into your body. So that's kind of the visualization that this light is coming in. Inhale, and then kind of gather and store it. So inhale, collect, and then exhale, bring the energy into your body. So that's the first step. There's basically 3 steps. Second one is going to be gathering the ground or earth energy. So this one's a little bit more simple. You're going to keep the feet the same. Palms are facing down. And basically all you're going to do is when you inhale, you slightly bend your fingers. And then when you exhale, you straighten them out. And that's the main movement. So inhale, slightly bend the fingers, and exhale, straighten. And when you're doing with the fingers actually is you're focusing on gathering the energy through here. So you're almost just cupping your palm a little bit. You're not really like bending your fingers like this. It's more like you're just trying to, as if you were just trying to like hold like a ping pong ball in your palm. It's not really much of a finger thing. It's more of your palm. So inhale, exhale, straighten. Inhale, exhale. So your hands are just at your side here, and that's what you're focusing on. Inhale. You're trying to, this one specifically, you're trying to gather energy through the palm of your hand. And then when you exhale, you're just focusing actually on your fingertips. So this area here, not like you're trying to do anything in particular, but it's more just awareness. And you'll notice when you're doing it properly, after a while, you start to feel like you have these big sausage fingers. You can feel a lot of energy in the tips of your fingers, and that's a good sign that you're doing it. You're starting to gather more chi or more energy. And it's okay if you don't feel that initially. It's very common to have to practice for a while. But that's all you're focusing on. So like you're gathering that energy from the earth and then focusing on the fingertips on the exhale. So inhale, bend. Exhale, straighten, focus on the fingertips. So that's part 2. Third part is focusing on the dantian, the energy center below your belly button. So from here, you're going to gather the energy, come all the way around, and palms are pointing right at that spot. So 3 fingers below your belly button, that's the lower dantian. So your palms right there, focusing on that spot, almost like you're reflecting energy right there. Go from side angle. You want to keep your back nice and straight, head nice and straight. And this one, fairly straightforward. There's also a version where you're doing it up here. It's a little bit harder on the shoulders, but this one is fairly easy, pretty passive. And all you're doing here is just focusing on that spot. You're not really trying to do much again. You're just focusing on it. And when you inhale, so you're focusing on belly breathing. When you inhale, stomach is going to come out. Exhale, stomach comes in. And your hands just very slightly reflect that. So on the inhale, coming out just a little bit, exhale, coming in. It's almost just like a natural extension of your diaphragm. So as simple as that. You're just focusing on this area. You might start to feel a little bit of tingling. You're not actively trying to do too much. So my teacher always said he was very adamant on not forcing anything. So You just want to do it naturally. You're not really trying to slow down your breath a ton or modify it. It's just, naturally as you're doing this, your breath should slow down a bit. Instead of, focusing so much on trying to gather the energy, naturally you'll start to feel, a bit of tingling, maybe a bit of warmth, and then eventually that'll electrocute you with your bare hands. That's what he does. But I'm sure it takes a while to get to that point. The point is though, you don't want to be forcing anything. It has to be a natural progression. Yeah. So we'll go through that. Basically, what we're going to do is we'll just transition from one into the other. In terms of timing, first one, you're supposed to do this until you start to feel tingling across your entire arms. So that's going to be different for everyone. And then that's when you switch to the next one. And then you're gathering the energy from the earth. Once you start to feel sausage fingers, then that's when you know to move on to the next one. And then when you come here, you're just doing 9 breaths into the belly. So that's basically all it is. And then after, I should mention this for closing. So you're going to put one hand over the other, bring it into that spot, 3 fingers below your belly button. Take a breath or two there. And then you can close by putting your thumbs inside your fingers and closing like that. Okay. So that secures the energy. So especially if you are midway through a practice and get distracted or something, this is a good way to gather that chi and kind of like close it off. Like, okay, I'm storing it. I haven't done all this stuff just to lose it. So anyways, that's what I was taught to finish it off. You can do that. So we'll go through that. I'm not really going to time anything. I will time the 9 breaths, but other than that, we're just going to go based off of feel. Okay, so feet are together as if we just finished the relaxation practice. Take a few deep breaths. And we're going to lift that left heel, put the weight on our right leg, step open, make sure we're maintaining that center. Once we're there, we can also take a little breath. And then we're going to inhale up to the shoulders, palms facing up. So that's the inhale, and then exhale, elbows slightly bent, palms slightly come forward, gathering that energy into the body. Inhale, open up so your elbows are more straight, gathering all that energy, collecting it, and then exhale, channeling it into the body. I also forgot to mention on the inhale, when those arms are going out, your chin can also slightly come up. You don't want to be kinking your neck all the way, but it can slightly come up, almost like you're praying to the Lord, praying for terrain. And then exhale, gather that energy to the body. You can also slightly bend your knees. So on the exhale, when your elbows are bending, you can also slightly bend your knees, get a little bit shorter. Then you're going to get nice and tall for your inhale. You're gathering. And then exhale down slowly. A few more. I'm starting to feel some tingling in my shoulders, my hands. And again, when you get tired, this is when you really want to lean into the breath to help it propel you. Okay, and now to transition. So on your next exhale, flip those palms, come all the way down, continue the exhale. Hands are at the side. I like to do a few circles, like spirals, almost like you're starting to feel where that energy is, the earth's energy. And when you're ready, inhale, cup those palms. Exhale, fingers nice and wide, focusing on the fingertips. Inhale, bringing the energy in through the palm. Exhale, straighten, send the energy out to the tips. start to feel a little bit tingling in your fingers. That's a good sign. Okay, and then when you're ready to transition, I'll come forward. So you're gathering all the energy, bringing it around a circle, pointing it at the lower dantian. Then we're going to do 9 breaths here. So again, we're focusing on just breathing into the belly. Inhale, expands. Exhale. As your belly comes in, the hands come in and they follow. It's almost like they're just linked together, your belly and your hands. Okay, so do 9 breaths. Again, you're just focusing on that spot below your belly button. Not really trying to do anything. Make sure you're nice and relaxed, but also maintaining good posture. So a straight spine, nice round circle here. Okay, then when you're done, your last breath, and one comes over top of the other one. Bring it in below your belly button. Take a breath. You're locking in the energy into that dantian, that's your main vitality center. And then close the fingers over the thumb. And you can step together and you're good. So yeah, I've never really talked, well, I'm not sure if I've talked about the energy centers, but so similar to the chakras, but in Chinese medicine, you have the 3 main energy centers. So lower dantian, middle, and upper. So lower is correlated with your overall vitality. So that's kind of like your general life force, I guess. And the more you have that, the better. Middle is love, and then upper is wisdom. So you want to make sure that you have a good balance of all those 3 to live a long life and well into your hundreds. Yeah, so that's basically it for this practice. So yeah, you can always make it your own, right? You don't have to do all these exercises, but generally the way I like to structure it is to do a bit of a warm up at the beginning, so some shaking, some general movements. You can pick a few of the preliminary movements, so like the the spine, the casting, or the circles. Like there's many different ones. You can also look online, but those just help you kind of get into the breathing side of things. And then if you want to do the body scan, great, definitely not necessary. But I find when you're doing some sort of warm up and some conscious breathing before you get into the practice is much more powerful. So by the time that we're doing the main practice, we're already dialed in, and you don't have to do this for long. Initially, it took me much longer to start to feel the tingling sensations in my body. Now it's just a few breaths, and you're already there. So it's the more you practice, the easier it gets. And I know we kind of extended this session, but you could easily do a full qigong practice in like 10 minutes and get plenty of benefit from that. So yeah. Anyways, so thanks for joining. So we'll stick our feet together. One hand open for strength and courage. The other hand, peace and love. And I like to thank my teachers, Master Lee and Sifu Rupert, and also thank the ancestors who have come before them. And yeah, so thank you. Xie xie. Bow. And thanks for joining me. We will see you guys next week. Have a good one. Bye.